Warning: the following video contains explicit language, which may be offensive to some viewers or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
It's Jeff. Everybody's doing good today. Today's Sunday. Beautiful day here in Maine. It's in the low 80s and it's not humid. And we have a little bit of a breeze. And it's really nice. You know, there's a little bit of an overcast, but the sun's been peeking out frequently. So it's good. And there are a lot of people out fishing today. So I when I was driving over the bridge into Orono, you know, going across the bridge, I could see down on the shoreline near the river that a lot of people down there are casting. So it was like, oh, nice day out, good day for fishing. I wouldn't eat nothing out of that river though. I don't know. I mean, because it's a big river, and a lot of mills have dumped shit in that over the decades and stuff. I don't know. It might be cleaner today than it was, but I remember I had fished on that river once, and I got a bass out of the thing. It wasn't that big, and it had, like, you know, worms and stuff like it. So I put it back in the water. But I don't know. It's just it's not a river that I would catch and eat anything from. Catch and release is basically what you would do with that river. But it's still fun. It's a good pastime. And will you stop it? Okay, so yeah, anyway, I got a video here from whoops, Kyle Kalinske got a video here, and it's pretty interesting. So let's go to that here, and then we'll discuss that on the other side.
So Mehdi Hasan, of course, did a Jubilee debate with a bunch of MAGA decrepit fascists. And what was really amazing about the debate is just how mask-off a lot of these right-wingers were. I honestly think the right is getting dumber. I think they are devolving right in front of our eyes. There was a time when the right, like back in the day, decades ago, where they would have to... There was like a mold, right? And you'd have to fit that mold to be a right-winger. And the idea was, you know, sort of like mean old man who wants to cut taxes and like balance the budget and have a smaller government and cares about like family values, right? Like that was the idea, just like sort of a standard conservative. But as time has gone by, and especially with the rise of Trump and the Trump era, these people have just become like, first of all, totally vibes-based, totally anti-intellectual, and also completely unhinged fascists, where they will say things that are just Nazi shit now. Right? And they'll act like, of course, this is just, we believe this. And so Mehdi Hasan ran into that brick wall of reality as, you know, Sam Cedar did before him, as Destiny did before him when these guys debated these right-wingers on Jubilee. But I do have what is effectively a positive story here for you. So first, let me show you. This is one of the guys who debated Mehdi, and look at how giddy and excited he is to tell the world that he's a fascist. Watch.
And if that autocrat kills you and your family, you're fine with that?
Well, I'm not going to be a part of the group that he kills, because that's the whole thing.
How do you know?
Autocrats
tend to kill everyone.
Carl Schmitt makes this point very well in his work. It's the friend-enemy distinction, right?
Carl Schmitt, the Nazi theoretician.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love that he says this openly, right? Like, I'm going to be on the good side of the fascists, so I'm safe. So I don't care. I want you to like kill the minorities and deport the minorities, but I'm fine. So they're not going to come after me. Right, because that's how authoritarian regimes work, is you always know exactly who and what they're going for. It's got nothing to do with anything else. It's not like, hey, if you criticize them on an issue that is not core to the ideology, they'll still fucking flip out. They'll still lock you up. We see what Trump is doing. We know that they're fucking monitoring the social media of immigrants for things that are anti-Trump. It boils down to like, and eventually authoritarian regimes become, you can never disagree on anything ever, right? And so nobody's safe. Nobody's safe in that scenario. But this idiot thinks, I'll be fine.
It's the friend-enemy distinction, right? You
Carl
liberals,
Schmitt, the Nazi theoretician.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't care.
Are you a fan of the Nazis?
I frankly don't care being called a Nazi at all.
I didn't say that. I didn't actually say that. I said, are you a fan of the Nazis?
Well, they persecuted the church a little bit. I'm not a fan of that. But
what about the persecution of the Jews?
Well, I mean, I certainly don't support anyone's human dignity being assaulted. I'm a Catholic.
But you don't condemn Nazi persecution of the Jews?
I think that there was a little bit of persecution.
We may have to rename this show because you're a little bit more than a far-right Republican.
Hey, what can I say?
I think you can say, I'm a fascist.
Yeah, I am. Absolutely.
This is fucking online brainworms, bro. This is like you've been in one too many fucking 4chan message boards. You know, you surrounded yourself with one too many incel freaks. Like he says it like he's giddy to call like, I'm a fascist. I'm a fascist. I hate minorities. I hate people who aren't like me. I love authoritarian rule. I hate democracy. Fucking dorky, spurgy loser. I'm a fascist.
I think that there was a little bit of persecution.
We may have to rename this show.
By the way, like this is part I don't understand, right? So Mehdi catches him because he cites some fucking like Nazi intellectual. So Mehdi catches him, and it's interesting because there's still this dance that they do, this game that they play, where it's like, well, you know, I have no problem with you calling me a Nazi, but are you a Nazi? Well, in some ways, I think they maybe went a little too far. Like, there's still this little dance. But the trajectory we're going now is we will get to the point in the same way that he was just like, but I am a fascist. Eventually, we'll get to the point where people are like, I am a Nazi. So, like, we went from, it used to be totally socially taboo. Not just to be a Nazi, but also to be a fascist. That would be career ender. You're cooked. You're done. Just no-go zone completely. Just culturally unacceptable, right? But now, because of Trump and Trumpism and the rise of the far right, now you can see that social taboo has degraded to the point where you still can't say you're a Nazi, but you can say I'm a fascist, right? But the trajectory we're going, eventually, Nazi too will be like, yeah, I'm just a Nazi. So we need to re-stigmatize all of this shit. Let people know, no, that's not acceptable. That's not acceptable. And this isn't, like, here's the point. This isn't just free speech. This isn't just like, you know, oh, I'm not hurting anybody. But you are. But your ideology is based on, I either want to kill or expel anybody and everybody who's not exactly like me. That is a call to violence. And we're witnessing it right now. This is what it looks like in practice, is Trump sending innocent people to CICOT, a concentration camp in El Salvador, sending 30,000 people to Guantanamo Bay illegally, sending people to Alligator Alcatraz who have no criminal record whatsoever, 92% no criminal record whatsoever. This is that ideology in action. It is violent by definition. So you can't then cling to liberal values if there are consequences for your actions, right? You can't say, I'm a fascist, so I don't believe in free speech, but if I get punished for using my free speech, well, now I'm going to say I believe in free speech and protect my free speech. No, fuck you. No, fuck you. That's not how it works. You don't even believe in those liberal values. Piss off.
You're a little bit more than a far-right Republican.
Hey, what can I say?
Look at him. Look at him. He's giddy. He's going to blow a load in his pants because he's telling everybody he's a fascist.
You can say, I'm a fascist.
Yeah, I am. Absolutely.
I'm just checking who's clapping just to get my set of where everyone is on this. Because you know that millions of people are going to be watching you on YouTube and checking out who the fascists and the Nazis are.
I'm not ashamed of that whatsoever.
No, clearly you're not.
I'm not ashamed of that whatsoever. Well, oops. He was fired. Fired for my political beliefs. My name is Connor, and I was recently shown in the latest Jubilee episode. As a result, unfortunately, I was subsequently released from my job. I'm raising money as an emergency fund and for other expenses while I look for a new job. To clarify, I was terminated from my position for holding fully legal traditional right-wing, traditional as in traditional to the 1940s in Germany. Traditional right-wing political views. This is cancel culture and political discrimination on full display. I just went on the Rift where I shared my story of what happened. You can watch here. Okay, Connor, do me a favor. Go straight to shut the fuck upsville. Because as I just explained, you don't get to say, I'm an authoritarian, I'm a fascist, I'm a far-right person, these are my values, this is what I believe in. But then, when there are consequences for your actions, go, oh, free speech, free speech, free speech, free speech. No, bitch. That's called a liberal value. You know, liberalism, that society that you despise and you hate and you think shouldn't exist. Now, you want to fall back onto the comforts of liberalism after you get fucking called out and there are consequences for your bullshit beliefs and actions. So, no, can you imagine the entitlement of being like, yeah, I'm a fascist, and then what? You are forced to fucking employ me. What if at the company that you work at, there's fucking black people or Hispanic people or any different kind of sexual minority, whatever the fuck? Like, you're supposed to work alongside, you should be allowed to work alongside them, even though you want to see them fucking exterminated or kicked out of the country. No, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Your ideology is violent by its nature, by definition. And so I love this because we need to re-stigmatize these people. Having cultural norms, having societal norms, it's a good thing. Saying, hey, an ideology based purely on hatred is not acceptable, right? There are consequences to that, and we're witnessing those consequences in real time right now with the fucking war on innocent day laborers at fucking Home Depot and 7-Eleven and shit. Stephen Miller is right in line with this guy. He's running the country with our immigration program, and it's a fucking horror show. We need to get back to a place of sanity and reason and humanity and empathy and justice and due process. And people like this are fucking preventing that. And now you need to know, yeah, if anybody is out there thinking, oh, maybe I'm a fascist, maybe I am this. Okay, shut the fuck up about it, because if you come out and you say that, there should be societal fucking consequences for it. There absolutely should be societal consequences for it. Because you guys are trying to rip apart the fabric of society. At the same time, you want the protections of the liberal values of society. So they are weaponizing liberalism against itself. Do you understand what that means? They are weaponizing liberalism against itself. Oh, now I believe in free speech because there are consequences for my actions. Well, 7 seconds ago, you were saying you were a fascist, you were an authoritarian, and you didn't believe in free speech at all. You didn't believe in liberalism at all. So no, we're not playing this game. You cannot, as a society, and this is true, you need to be tolerant, but you cannot be tolerant of intolerance. Because then the intolerance rules us all. And that's where we're at right now. So this fucking derpy loser got what he had coming to him, right? You got what you had coming to you. You want to be in your fucking little, like, edgy online subculture? Go right ahead. Be in your edgy online subculture. The second you cross that shit into the real world, which has impacts on real people, your fucking job. Now you should. We've let this shit fester for too long. That's the problem. There was a time in 2016, if you told me, yes, a certain percentage of the right wing base is fascist, I would have been like, nah, I don't think they're fascist. That's a little much. Now in 2025, I'm like, oh shit, a majority of these assholes might be fucking fascists, right? Like, it's gotten that fucking bad. And I think the problem is, from day one, we didn't take the threat seriously. We were too open-minded. We were so open-minded, our brain fell out of our heads. Sure, bro, let them say whatever, bro. It's fine, bro. Oh, shit, now they're calling for the mass extermination of people. Oh, shit, now Israel's actually doing a live stream genocide and people are openly supporting it. Oh, shit. Like, we've degraded as a society when it comes to morality. And so, by the way, unfortunately, this story has a bad ending. As of probably 8 hours ago or so, he's raised $30,000. $30,000 in a crowdfunding campaign after he got fired. So apparently all you have to do is come out as a derpy fucking loser fascist, and a bunch of other derpy fucking loser fascists will throw thousands of dollars at you. So, good career choice. It reminds me of that story of the woman who was caught calling some black kid the N-word and then raised hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's like, really? That's what this country is now? We're just going to incentivize people to go yell the N-word at little black boys. We're going to incentivize people to be derpy fucking fascists, getting their shit pushed in on the dumb debate shows like Jubilee, and then they can, raise enough money to buy a car. Like, really? That's what we're doing here? So, shit, man. I'm just so sick of these people. Just so sick of them. Like, and the perpetual fucking victim complex, right? Like, asshole, you have your administration too. You won. You guys are in charge. Fucking Stephen Miller, Donald Trump, the concentration camps, the fucking invading Los Angeles, all that shit. You got it, dog. You won. But you know what? It is time that we bring back standards and we bring back shame. And this is step one in bringing back standards and shame. So now for the next doofy right-wing loser who's thinking about going out in public. Like, oh, I'm a fascist. I'm a Nazi. Hitler was based. Well, now you know. Maybe think twice, unless you want to ruin your fucking life. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications.
So, this guy had a job? I mean, the fact that Kyle even knows that this guy got fired came from his own mouth. He says, I was fired from my job. Really? Can you verify that? Because I can't see how a guy like this could have worked anywhere with around people without something of his big yap slipping up and saying something that someone would take offense to. Okay? So, he gets on the fucking YouTube or on this interview here, thinking no one's gonna know, okay, if you know what I'm saying, and he says all this hateful shit, and I'm thinking, you know, it's like, what did you expect? Okay, if you had a job, that is, okay, he might be just saying that, but we'll just say for the sake of argument, he did have a job and he lost it because of that, okay. Hello, this is not Nazi Germany, okay, where you can go out and say shit like this and get away with it. And the fact that he's sitting here crying freedom of speech, like Kyle said, now he falls back on the liberal ideas when people reject his fascist ideas, okay? It's like, you know, there's nothing in the Constitution that says, you know, freedom of speech and you're protected after what you say. No. Your freedom to say what you want, but hey, the chips fall where they may afterwards, okay? You're not, okay, that guarantee is only there to prevent the government from stopping you from saying what you want to say. As far as society goes, that's a whole different matter. All right? So, you know, they need to reread that First Amendment here and stop using it as, oh, I should be able to get out there and drop my pants in front of people and expose myself and feel like, oh, I can do what I want because I got the freedom to do it. Okay, no, that's not how it works, dingbat. Okay? It's made to prevent the government from stopping you from speaking your mind. That's what it's there for. As far as everybody else is concerned, it's open season. You open your mouth, hey, it happens. Okay? There's no law that stops that except the police. You know, if they beat on you or something like that, then you got to have something to take to court for battery or whatever. But hey, there's no absolute protection here. There never has been. Okay, so you know, people like this guy here, they need to fucking wake up and understand that you're misunderstanding here what this is about, and the fact that he's going around saying this shit and okay. What the hell is that? It's like the Joker, for Christ's sake. You know, in Batman, a fucking lunatic goes out there and he basically vomits all over everybody, and he thinks it's funny, and he thinks, oh, I'm proud of it that I vomited all over you. Okay, you know, this is this guy. This is what he is. I mean, he even looks like a nut in the face. Okay, so you know, I dare say, and I'm gonna go back out here and say, he never had a job. He lived in his parents' basement, I bet. Okay, he ain't got no place to be. This guy, he's a closet Nazi. And the fact that there were people around that were clapping and supporting his big fucking stupid mouth goes to show you he ain't alone. Unfortunately, he ain't alone. And why it's gotten this way, it's because, you know, I think education is one of the reasons. These people were not taught well enough about how fascism is a bad thing. Okay? He had some pretty bad upbringing. All right? Really bad. And it shows, unfortunately. His parents, I don't know how they would be reacting to that if they're still alive and they saw this fucking interview and they saw how he behaved. I don't know. Maybe they would be like, oh, my son. Okay, I don't know. But he's the kind of guy that probably grew up cheering for the Empire when he watched Star Wars. He's probably the guy that rooted for Jaws when he, you know, in the movie Jaws. Okay, the shark. You know, he rooted for Skeletor. Who knows? I mean, is that, are we going to assume that this guy was always like that from birth? That he was always like that? If that's the case, then he had a mental problem growing up. Okay? Or he grew up with parents who were fucking walked around with the swastika on their fucking lips. Okay? You know, who's to say how somebody like this comes to be? All right? I can't think that Trump is the reason that all these nuts come out of the woodwork. No, it isn't. These people were always in the woodwork, okay? But they did not feel emboldened to come out and say the things that they're saying in front of millions of people who watch these videos and stuff all over YouTube, okay? And that the fact that he raised 30 grand because he told people that he lost his job, which was probably a lie, because you can't be a fascist without being a liar. Okay, so the fact is he's got money. He got money, or I mean 30,000. Okay, so there's people out there who support this fucking shit. It's like I said, one person can get 100 supporters no matter what they say. Period. Prove me fucking wrong. Okay, prove me wrong. Well, you get 100 people together to chip in money. Hey, it builds up. So just because he got 30,000 doesn't mean what he said on there was right. It just means there's other sycophants out there who believe what he was saying. Okay, which gives us an indication of how far the shit goes. Unless we get to see how many people contributed to that 30,000. Was it one person or hundreds of people who contributed a little bit? The thing of it is, though, is in our society we equate people with wealth being somewhat of a status, like Trump. Trump can go around and talk just like this motherfucker, but because he's the president and he's got money and all this and that, we excuse it, we tolerate it. Okay, I'm sorry, but if you're going to be of that mind, and then you want to talk about a justice system in that frame of mind, what do you think's going to happen? Your justice system isn't going to be even, is it? It's going to be lopsided. Isn't that the problem we're facing right now with our justice system? That, it only works for the certain people and the income, but the wealthy people, no, justice never touches them. That's why this thing with Trump and Epstein and all that is so important, because this is an opportunity for this country to actually fix that mistake in our justice system, where we have let this go on and on, rampant. Okay? Why we have protests out on the street all the time when something unfair happens. Well, we have people demanding that somebody be held accountable for things that they do wrong. And we expect the justice system to recognize those things are wrong and do its due diligence. Okay? In this case with Trump, okay, they still have justice to seek here in that aspect. And people like this guy here in the video here that was all pro-fascist, they can't possibly be pro-justice if they support Trump. You see what I'm saying? Because in their eyes, all the stuff about Epstein and all that is just a torpedo lodged by the Democrats to knock down their beloved president. Okay? Totally ignoring the fact that A, they're just creating a conspiracy out of nothing, and B, Trump did do some crimes, and he hasn't paid a fucking anything, okay, for any of the fucking wrongs he's done, okay? So don't tell me that he doesn't deserve justice. The guy, he's also a traitor to the country. Not only did he incite a riot against, the government, but he took documents, classified documents, and brought them to his home in Mar-a-Lago and used it as reading material in his bathroom, okay? And we don't know what he did with those things. I mean, has anybody ever asked him, did you take any of these things and make copies? No one's asked him about that. There's no telling what's floating around out there that belongs to the United States as secret information that, hey, could be in the hands of Putin, could be in the hands of Netanyahu, could be in the hands of other people. You take your pick. Whoever could pay the highest to get that shit, I'm sure he sold it to. I mean, they're saying he's been making money in the White House every fucking day he's been in there, okay? If there's anybody benefiting from his presidency, it's him alone, okay? He's added to his wealth while he's been president these last 7 months, okay? That right there is a big red fucking flag. I mean, if it was a Democrat doing that and they found out, he's making, $1 million a day in the fucking White House, okay, what do you think the Republicans would be saying right now? Okay? He's using the office to enrich himself. That's wrong. Well, that's what Trump's doing, people, and no one's saying a fucking thing, not even the press. I mean, yeah, there's some people that have pointed that out online in these video blogs here that you know, a lot of people seem to think they're just carnival acts, okay, and they mean nothing. Well, that's only because you grew up believing everything you see on television, okay. Even when they were lying to you, to this day you put more weight into that than people who get online and are willing to speak the truth, because they've got no reason to lie unless they're trying to you know, soak money from you. Okay, but you know, when you sit there and you believe the people who are actually working against you, then when you hear somebody saying the opposite, but you don't think that's true because that's not what you're hearing on the, you know, mainstream. Well, hey, do you realize before the build up to the Iraq War, when George W. Bush was president, that anybody who said that Saddam didn't have weapons of mass destruction was silenced while he was president? Okay, even people in his own in the government who were trying to tell him that, reports, no, he ain't reading it, we don't acknowledge it. Okay, they were shutting people up. Okay, those are the people, the lone voices out there trying to tell you the truth, and he wouldn't let anyone hear about it. And any fucking newspaper out there that was printing that or something, they'd be attacked. Same thing happening right now. Okay, and because you people are falling for that tactic, you know, that goes to show you how stupid you are, because you'd rather listen to lies and bullshit, even when it's proven that it's lies and bullshit. You'd rather listen to it anyway because it's easier. Okay, you don't have to think. Someone's thinking for you or telling you what to think, and so you will go along with that. So many people in this country really need to unlearn what they've learned growing up, because they're destroying themselves. They're destroying the country, and it's only going to come after the total destruction of this country. It's only going to come to their realization afterwards that, oh my God, A leads to B, B leads to C, D, E, and when we got to Z, this is where we are. Okay, they connect the dots too late. When we were trying to connect the dots for them, they simply would not listen. Okay, and that's, unfortunately, that's a human trait. People have to learn the hard way. And the hardest lessons learned are usually the ones that last the longest, but unless you pass down that lesson to the next generation after that, they will repeat that mistake. You know? And this guy here in that interview here where he was bragging about fascism, this is a guy who did not learn the lesson of fascism. He probably hardly cracked the book open about Nazi Germany. He probably got all his information from, you know, watching stupid, I don't know what you'd call it, right-wing propaganda all his life, who, you know, they spend a lot of time trying to, you know, romanticize Hitler when they can. But they spent very little time. I bet when the movie Schindler's List come out, he probably never saw it. Okay. He says, oh, I didn't like how they persecuted the church. Another Christian. Friends, you see what I mean about Christianity? You see why I don't want to be associated with that anymore? It ain't the same fucking thing when it started. Okay? It's been twisted. 2,000 years, people. You think something that started 2,000 years ago is going to be the same today? If I told you a message and I asked you to pass it on to somebody and asked them to pass it on, by the time that message, after what I told you came back to me, it would be completely different. Because people don't fucking pay attention to details. All right? That's the reason why. And so that's why I'm telling you that after 2,000 years, it wouldn't be surprising that the Catholic Church is getting it all messed up and all wrong. Okay? You got to look at the history of that church from beginning to today. And you got to say, well, you know, a lot of things got lost over the centuries. A lot of things got reinterpreted over the centuries, so much so that it actually created splinter groups from the fucking Christianity, created different religions because people just did not want to listen. Okay, you know what I'm saying? So it destroyed itself, reassembled itself, destroyed itself again, you know, and now we got a church that calls itself Christian, but doesn't resemble anything like it used to, okay, when it first got formed. And nothing that ever is made by man will last. That's a common thread in history you're going to find in everything. Just like the United States, it's doomed to collapse at some point because humans are imperfect. It's going to collapse. It doesn't matter. You know, it doesn't matter. We try to make it last, but you can't help but have people inside your own government who do not want that government to exist, and they will do everything they can to destroy it. You know? And everybody's sitting there, you know, saying, oh, Democrats are going to be the end of this country. You know? Well, who's the president now and what party is it? Okay? Need I say more? Democrats, they're not the ones that are pushing to get people removed off the fucking streets by any means necessary. They're not the ones cutting Medicare and taking away Social Security from people. They're not the ones fucking around with the stock market and getting people out of losing their jobs, okay? They're not the ones out there slowing down the fucking economy. They're not the ones out there pissing off all these other countries. They're not the reason why they're boycotting in other countries anything made in America. Who's done that in the last 7 months? Republicans. Trump. MAAP. All these people on the extreme right wing, they're the ones that's bringing about the very thing they were accusing Democrats of doing. They're the ones doing it. And I knew that way back, Christ. It doesn't come to any surprise to me, but it should wake up those of you out there who still think that it's the Democrats who are the enemy. Really. You know, it's politics, they say, is a blood sport. And I think we're starting to see that it's true. Because what happens in politics affects life on the streets. Right now, life on the streets is pretty violent right now. Okay? Because we put some policies in place that were not very good. And we refused to fix things when they got broken. Like the school shooting problem that's gone on for decades. Okay? No one on this earth that has a brain between his ears would say that it's a problem that can't be fixed. Okay, I don't believe that for a minute, and I don't think you do either if you're watching this. Okay, that is a problem that can be fixed. The problem is nobody wants to do it because there's money involved. The root of all evil, money. Okay, the devil's gonna get his way by putting the serpent into our hands to kill all the innocent kids. And that's what the gun is. I mean, Christ, there's no reason to go hunting with a fucking AK-47 or some machine gun. People around here in Maine don't hunt like that. Christ, they got a shotgun or a 22 or something, but that's about all you need if you're very good at what you're doing. You don't need to go out there with a fucking bazooka. But no, everybody wants to have the right to have it. And you think you're going to stop somebody like ICE knocking at your door to come and get you? If you got a bazooka, I hope you got about 100 or 150 shells, because they're going to keep coming until they get you, or they're just going to nuke or blow your fucking house out of. One way or another, your number's up. They're going to get you or they're going to kill you. You're not going to be able to stop that. But the thing of it is that these people live in a world of paranoia, okay? And they've gotten so paranoid now that they're looking for problems under bookshelves and stuff like that ain't there. They're becoming fascists in their thinking because they're so paranoid. They think everybody's out to get them. So the only way you can create peace is to kill everybody or get rid of everybody. Okay, that's what's going on. Is our paranoia has taken over our fucking reasoning. And who benefits from that? Gun industry. You know, some politicians, they like to run on those issues to make you more and more paranoid so they'll get your vote. Okay? You see that the corruption that feeds off itself? Okay? We've let these things go on so long that it's crippled our country to the point now where we are on the verge of losing it. So, like I said, it's not a laughing matter. This guy's sitting here giggling that he's fascist and all that. Okay, that's a sick man. That's a sick man, people. That guy needs to be marginalized in life, because if he gets his hand on any little bit of power, he's going to abuse it to the hilt. That's a dangerous person. Okay, Hitler, people brushed him aside as a wacko, right? But look what happened. He found the right people to elevate him to where he ended up being. So you cannot just dismiss these fucking people for being crazy or something like that. When a guy like that gets $30,000 from supporters, he's a guy who can be supported and be pushed up the ranks. Okay? He's a dangerous person. And people like that, they need to be weeded out so we know who they are. All right? So let's go to a commercial break. We'll be right back.
I'm Alex Curtis. I'm a lobsterman in Maine, and this is me.
I'm Roxy Sugar, and this is me.
I'm Eric Hopkins. I'm an artist, and this is me.
This is me.
Me.
This is me.
This is me.
At the end of the journey, the main thing is you, original.
He said it over and over for years.
Can you guarantee that Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security will not be touched?
Yeah, I mean, I have said it so many times, you shouldn't be asking me that question. Medicare, Medicaid, none of that stuff is going to be touched.
Nothing.
We're going to love and cherish Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid. We're not going to do anything with that.
His biggest MAGA supporters said no cuts to Medicaid.
It is wrong to cut health care for the working poor.
There's a lot of MAGAs on Medicaid. I'm telling you, if you don't think so, you are dead wrong.
The effect of this bill is to break a promise.
Trump lied.
The Medicaid cuts could cause nearly 12 million people to lose their health insurance.
With this mega bill set to enact the largest cuts to Medicaid in decades, experts are warning that many struggling hospitals in rural communities could close their doors.
But they're not cutting it. They're looking at fraud, waste, and abuse.
He thinks you're stupid and he can fool you. He doesn't care about your health insurance. All he wanted was your vote. Donald Trump. It's just not working.
Alligator Alcatraz, an impregnable prison camp surrounded by miles of the most deadly parts of Florida. Poisonous snakes, fierce and hungry alligators, miles of unmapped swamps, storms, hurricanes, fierce heat. No one's getting out of Alligator Alcatraz. The people in Alligator Alcatraz are subhumans, the worst of the worst. Alligator Alcatraz is going to teach these criminals a lesson. If you're upset by Alligator Alcatraz, just wait. Because when the Trump era ends, we're keeping it open for the corrupt crypto scammers like Don Jr., who cashed in on the presidency. Keeping it open for folks like Stephen Miller, Kristi Noem, and Tom Homan, who ignore the law, ignore court orders, and deploy masked cops in warrantless raids. We're even keeping it open for the state and federal agents who abuse their power. You built this, MAGA, and some of you will enjoy the view from inside the wire.
It happens in countries like Russia, Iran, and China. The inner circle of the dictator get very rich, while the rest of the country struggles. Now it's happening in America. Donald Trump's chief of staff, Susie Wiles, over $4.5 million. Stephen Miller, that angry little guy his own family attacks, hundreds of thousands. Trump's former golf caddy, Dan Scavino, over $2 million. Sergio Gore, 38-year-old former DJ from Malta, over $1 million. What's Donald Trump done for you? You pay less for eggs? Your taxes gone down? Social Security offices are closing. VA services slashed. Trump's pushing the largest Medicaid cut in history and the biggest tax cut for billionaires. Trump's golden circle gets rich, while the rest of us struggle. It's not fair. Russia, Iran, China, corrupt dictatorships. And now, America. Donald Trump. It's just not working.
Hey guys, what's up? Have you heard about the blue salt trick for men? This interesting method has been gaining some attention, and if you're looking to boost your performance, energy, and blood flow, this could be the natural solution you've been searching for. So, what exactly is the blue salt trick? It involves using mineral-rich blue salt to improve circulation and support overall vitality. Many people claim it helps with increasing endurance, and even boosting performance in the bedroom. Sounds intriguing, right? But here's the catch. Not everyone has access to high-quality blue salt, and even if you do, your body needs more than just minerals to perform at its peak. That's where Nitric Boost Ultra steps, which employs the same method of blue salt trick for men. Nitric Boost Ultra offers a scientifically backed, proven way to naturally supercharge your blood flow. It helps you feel stronger, last longer, and perform at your best with its powerful blend of nitric oxide boosters. One of the key ingredients in Nitric Boost Ultra is L-arginine, an amino acid that helps widen your blood vessels, delivering more oxygen and nutrients to your muscles. This translates to better endurance, faster recovery, and improved performance. It also includes L-citrulline, which works in tandem with L-arginine, to maximize blood flow and stamina. But that's not all. Nitric Boost Ultra also contains essential vitamins and natural plant extracts to help your body maintain peak performance without any harmful chemicals or stimulants. No side effects, no jitters, just pure natural energy and strength. If you're thinking about trying the blue salt trick, go ahead. But if you're after a reliable, effective, and scientifically backed way to elevate your performance, Nitric Boost Ultra is your go-to solution. The best part? It's super easy to use. Take 1 scoop of the powder with a glass of water every day, or mix it in a smoothie or tea if you want. Within weeks, you'll feel more energized, stronger, and more confident in every aspect of your life. Ready to unlock your full potential? Don't wait. Try Nitric Boost Ultra today. Grab it directly from the official website to ensure you're getting the real deal. And I'd love to hear your thoughts. Have you tried the blue salt trick? Or are you excited to give Nitric Boost Ultra a try? Drop a comment below and let's talk. That's all for today, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss out on more tips to keep you at your best. Take care, and I'll see you next time.
Be a part of the entertainment value of a lifetime.
I loved it.
It was the best performance I've seen in a lifetime.
I loved the show. I liked it very much. He's a very entertaining man. It's well worth the money.
Now appearing in Charlottetown, coming to Halifax November 6th to the 18th, and St. John November 20th through the 26th.
Welcome back, everybody. All right. I got this other video here I want to play, and it's from, I can't remember who it is because it's the first time I've actually introduced this person here in my litany of people that I, well, it's Adam Mockler's channel, but he's got somebody on there doing this for him right now because I don't know what happened to Adam, but it's from his channel, and it's talking about ICE and how the sheriffs are getting pissed at ICE for what they're doing here. So let's go to that video here. We'll discuss that on the other side.
Right, you've got to see this. ICE has started to take it too far, and local precincts in states are getting upset. They're getting angry. See, Donald Trump signed the big, beautiful bill, and it gives ICE an unbelievable amount of funding. Like, ICE is by far the most funded enforcement agency in the country now. It's not even close. And they're just going to start, I mean, they essentially have a blank check. They're going to start massively expanding on what they're already doing with these raids and these detention facilities and all these different things. And the thing is, the party that's supposed to be all about states' rights is building this massive federal government, you know, hyper-politicizing the executive branch and now using these three-letter agencies like the Department of Homeland Security, the DOJ, the FBI as political tools. But states are starting to get pissed and people are starting to get upset. ICE recruiting tactics are pissing off local sheriffs nationwide. Sheriffs are furious that the Department of Homeland Security is using their own data against them in a desperate bid to meet the Trump administration's absurd quotas. We're going to get into this, but before we do, really quickly, my name is Chris Mowry. I'm filling in for Adam Mockler on the Adam Mockler channel. If you enjoy this type of content, it would mean so much if you just hit subscribe right down below. We're trying to build something on this channel to fight back against this Republican media machine, uplift Gen Z voices going into the midterms. And if you want to see my content on my YouTube channel, there'll be a link in the description. Again, it would mean so much if you checked it out. And you may notice I'm having kind of a bad hair day. It's a Saturday in Chicago. I've been running around all day. And so I decided for this video to grab this hat, which, if you can't tell, says Mockler Media on it. You can actually grab one of these hats at shop.adammockler.com to help support the channel, especially as we build this new live show we're doing 3 times a week, and we continue to add people to the channel. It goes a long way to support. I know I look a little ridiculous in hats. I kind of look now like a 16. I mean, I already have a baby face, right? I'm 23. I look like I'm 16. This probably makes it worse, but we'll rock it for the rest of the video. All right, let's get into this. First, I want to back up a little bit and show you like an example of how this big federal government is just coming into these local communities and just ripping them apart. This is a new video we saw go really viral like in the last few days. Let's take a look.
It's closed because we had a criminal search warrant here today. Okay.
What was your name? Sorry, I didn't get your name.
You don't need my name.
Well, then who are you?
I'm with the Department of Homeland Security.
Homeland Security. Do you have a badge or anything to prove that? Because if not, I'm just going to walk in.
It's right there.
Where? There's no badge there, sir.
See it right here? My belt?
I just want to see the officer number. 508 here. What was your name?
We're going to shut the door now. You have about 2 seconds before you're arrested for hindering a federal investigation.
He's not even in the building. I'm not even. How am I hindering your investigation? I'm not in the building.
We're out on the public sidewalk.
Okay. I'm not in the building. How can I hinder your investigation?
So what's your concern then?
I'm concerned what's going on. I have an order to pick up.
So you're more concerned about your order, but not the labor trafficking and exploitation that's going on.
Who said there's any labor trafficking?
This is a criminal search warrant.
This
is a criminal search warrant.
Can I see a copy of it?
You have it signed by a judge.
Okay. You know, you guys
I already got your
kitchen.
face. You can take. All right, I can come in the kitchen. Thank you.
Thank you for the invitation.
Appreciate it.
Okay, I just want to pause really quickly. What was that entire interaction? Hey, what the hell are you guys doing here? What happened? The restaurant is clearly like cleared out. This is a federal investigation. You're hindering that investigation. You're about to get arrested. Wait, what? We're standing outside on the sidewalk. What are you talking about? Then he backs off and he's like, okay, well, what's your concern? Blah, 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 starts fighting. They say, do you have a, can we see this, search warrant? They don't say anything. And then they proceed to just invite them in. Seems like they're admitting their wrongdoing already. Let's continue.
Want to do any names or identification today?
They're just leaving. They're just gonna leave. It's like as soon as they start being recorded, they're just like, no, it's over now. We're leaving.
These girls are like fucking 15 years old.
What do you tell your kids about what you do?
Public servants.
Yeah, I'm so proud of your work.
You do that or just...
So proud of your work.
I'm not in the way.
So first of all, a little bit of context on this. According to the person who recorded it, they raided essentially this restaurant, cleared everybody out, started arresting people, some of them looking quite young. And this was in a strip mall. And you saw when they walked through the restaurant, like there's still, I saw a cup on a table full of, I think it was, soda or something. Like that restaurant was just open. Then everybody was cleared out, possibly arrested. And they left the burners onto the oven, the deep fryers, and this was in a strip mall. So actually the citizens had to come in and turn them off because if they left them on, like these, Department of Homeland Security people did, they would have burned down the entire strip mall. Okay. And then obviously you saw in that video, they're like, there's federal investigation, there's a search warrant, we're doing work here. And then they start being recorded, and apparently all of their work is magically done now because they rush to the front door and leave and get in, again, these unmarked cars and leave. Why is the federal government, again, in the context of we're all about states' rights, now we have this massive, insanely funded apparatus of the federal government that's just going into communities and ripping them apart. We go quickly to another video, much shorter. Take a look at this one.
Going out. Come out this way, please.
Okay, I already see a mom and her kid, right? We are putting explosives on a door. This is a military-style raid. Supposedly, the person they were looking for was undocumented and had something related to a previous fender bender. How accurate that is, I don't know. Take that with a grain of salt. But regardless, what are we doing? Like this is crazy. This is madness. Walking into these communities, arresting people. I'm sure you've seen videos like this 100 times. This is in a farm in Alabama where we're running and arresting people, breaking up local communities. That person, I believe, ended up being a U.S. citizen. And he was saying, I'm a U.S. citizen. I'm a U.S. citizen. Doesn't matter. Right? And so I bring you back to the original stories. ICE recruiting tactics are pissing off local sheriffs nationwide. When they're coming into these communities and breaking them up, the sheriff's office or the local police are, helping in some capacity. They're obviously working directly with ICE because they have to coordinate these things. But if you read here, quote, as Immigration and Customs Enforcement looks to bolster its ranks by 10,000, courtesy of the slush fund, it is provided under Trump's budget. Again, now becoming the most, not even close. It is the most funded enforcement agency in the country. It's resorted to poaching law enforcement officers who participated in ICE's 287G program, which allows local law enforcement to partner with the agency. In recent days, ICE Deputy Director has reportedly sent out emails urging these participants to join the agency. Quote, as someone who is currently supporting ICE through this program, you understand the unique responsibility we carry in protecting our communities and upholding federal law, the email says. The offer also carries potential incentives, including a $50,000 signing bonus and up to $60,000 in student repayment. Jonathan Thompson, executive director and CEO of the National Sheriff's Association, told NBC the move was, quote, inappropriate behavior of a partner organization. Quote, we're all on the same boat and you just don't treat friends or partners like this. That is an insane incentive. Again, they just have all this money and they're just going to start poaching people. 50 grand and $60,000 in student repayment? Yeah, I mean, if you were doing this type of work, I guess, which I know most of you wouldn't, and I wouldn't either. But if you were, that's a pretty, attractive offer. This is Sheriff Grady Jude of Polk County, Florida. And she said, quote, "We're a force multiplier to help ICE, and we've been spending a lot of time and effort. And the next thing we know, the people who have submitted to ICE, who have been ICE trained on our dime, by the way, received a direct email from the administration." I mean, that's biting the hand that's feeding you. Quite frankly, it's like letting the fox in the henhouse. We don't want to burn bridges, but somebody lit the fire on the other end, observed the sheriff of Bradford County. Wow. The sheriff's office in Forsyth County, Georgia, reportedly received an apology from ICE's Atlanta field office because a number of sheriffs are now demanding these apologies from ICE. Jude, for instance, told NBC that Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem should, quote, "get on her big girl pants and do what's right. She needs to make sure there's an apology." Wow. And this is an article right here that Adam Mockler has briefly touched on, or has touched on before, and I'm going to briefly touch on it. Trump's domestic use of military set to get worse. A leaked memo shows. An internal memo circulated inside the Department of Homeland Security suggests that Trump's use of the military for domestic law enforcement on immigration could soon get worse. The memo obtained by the New Republic provides a glimpse into the thinking of top officials as they seek to involve the Defense Department more deeply in these domestic operations. The memo lays out the need to persuade top Pentagon officials to get much more serious about using the military to combat illegal immigration and not just the border. It suggests that DHS is anticipating many more uses of the military in urban centers, noting that LA-style operations may be needed, quote, "for years to come." And it likens the threat of international gangs and cartels to, quote, "having Al-Qaeda or ISIS cells and fighters operating freely inside America," hinting at a ramped up militarized posture inside the interior. That is insane. And now these local sheriffs and frankly local communities as well, like you and I, are speaking out against this because the police that work closely with these individuals, the administration is screwing them over. People who, again, are working hard, documented or undocumented, American citizens are not. These raids are taking place where we're just ruining communities. We almost burned down a strip mall. It's insanity. It's absolutely insanity. Let me know what you think of all this down below. If you haven't already, once again, subscribe down below. It goes such a long way to just helps us out, and you can join this growing community. You
know what I found troubling in that thing that really, it just sticks in my mind, is when they were showing those agents using an explosive to open the door to a home, right? And who walks out of the house but a woman and her baby? What do you think would have happened if that baby had been killed, let's just say, from the explosion? Now, I know they're going to argue, "Oh, well, it's not going to do that." I don't care, okay? You can't account for every fucking fragment that flies through the air from an explosion. What does just say that explosion was enough to knock a piece of shrapnel or something, and it would have hit that kid right there in the head, killed it? Do you think those fucking people would have gave a shit about that with their strong arm tactics? Don't you see that there's something inherently wrong with the way they're doing their job here? It goes right back to what I was saying before about ICE. These people are not genuine, okay? They're walking around with gear, okay? And they don't, for one, they don't look like professionals. They don't act like professionals. And they're very evasive. You saw in that restaurant at the beginning, people were, recording, but they were getting bitchy. 2 seconds, I'm going to arrest you. 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 10 seconds. What are they doing? They turned out and they walked out. What happened? They ain't got no authority to arrest, right? They ain't got much of authority for anything except to just throw their fat around, okay, and go after people and haul them out of there, which is what they already done. There was no reason for them to stay, okay? And so they left, but they didn't want to be questioned. They wanted the guy to leave with the camera. They didn't want to be filmed, but they couldn't touch him, okay, because they ain't got the authority to arrest anybody. And they didn't have any paperwork to show why they were there, because they wouldn't answer, "Who are you?" They wouldn't answer her name. And then the guy says, "Well, why are you here?" And they wouldn't answer that either. And can we see any document, a judge order, or whatever, a warrant? Can we see something? And they wouldn't answer that either. So look, people, if a cop came to your house like this, okay, and arrested you but had no cause, no paperwork, no nothing, what do you think would happen to that cop? That arrest would have to get thrown out because it was done improper. The person would be able to walk right out of the fucking jail. Any good lawyer would be able to dismiss the whole case. So how these fucking people are acting and getting away with what they're doing outside the bounds of the law is a fucking mystery. And the fact that real law enforcement people are starting to get a little bit upset about this, these group of people doing these things, shows that, you know, even they know that ICE is stepping outside the lines and the boundaries of the law in a lot of cases here. Okay? And certainly, if using explosives to open up a residential home door was something that, you know, is normal, then cops would have been doing that, or SWAT teams would be doing that. Instead, what do they use? They use one of those heavy bars things, whatever the hell they call that, a ram, to open the door. Sometimes they might just resort to kicking it, you know, if they got the energy to do it. Okay? But you won't find them using a goddamn explosive. And these fucking people, ICE, that's what they're doing. They're using military tactics, which means they're learning how to do stuff like this from the military, not from the police, not from law enforcement, okay? The military is showing them how to do these things. And like I said, they don't think that, geez, you know, if I put this explosive here and that goes off, you know, who's on the other side of that fucking door? I mean, they had 8 fucking guys, I think it was, swoop in there, and all that came out was a woman and her baby. 8 fucking agents. You know? What the hell? You think they were going after a mob boss? I mean, that's what they would surround the house with choppers if they were going to go after somebody like that. Okay? No. I mean, these fucking guys, I mean, it's like the whole neighborhood is on lockdown so they can go in there and yank out a woman and her baby. That's an awful lot of theater to put fear in people's minds. It's not a wonder we're calling them the Gestapo of the United States, because that's the way they're acting. They deserve that label. They've earned it. They've earned that fucking label. We never thought in this country we would have a group of people like that to do things like that, okay? Because up to now, ICE never had a real reason to actually do these things, okay? Usually the people are, you know, they use regular law enforcement, and they're, you know, there's no need to do these incredible, expensive raids to go get, you know, 1, 2, 3, or, you know, people. There's no fucking reason for that. It's like, you know, taking a tank to go blow up a fucking outhouse. I mean, Jesus, I mean, what the hell are you doing? But it's all for show. It's theater. And, you know, this theater can get out of control. It can get people hurt. It can kill people. Because these are not professionals. They were not trained to do this. They are doing this like a militia would be doing this. If they were out doing stuff, they'd be tripping on their own feet. You know, they'd be, you know, they'd be leaving like McDonald's food wrappers everywhere. I mean, these are it's crazy. Okay, let's just say that it is fucking crazy, and it reeks of not having any fucking legitimacy. And then we find out, hey, they're giving, you know, if you want to work with us, we'll give you $50,000 and we'll pay your college debt. Jesus Christ, it's good to have a country that's all broke right now, because hell, anyone would line up for that. So there you go. Doesn't that also add to my argument that these people are not legit? Some of these are probably your fucking neighbors. No wonder they're wearing masks. They don't want to be recognized, because maybe some of the people that they're going to get, they know. So it's I mean, when Nazi Germany, they had the Gestapo, I remember they had Jewish people going around working with them. Remember that? They made them wear, was it a star or something like that? But they had the accoutrement of looking like they were part of the German military in some regard, I guess you could say. But they were helping the Nazis kill their own people. All right? That's what's going on now, because now they're getting Americans to go after Americans. Americans going after Americans. And these people are those turncoats, you know, of days gone by. You know, I don't know, I can't remember if they ever gave them a name for the Jewish people that worked with them. Like traitors, I guess would be the best thing I could think of. But these are the American traitors. Okay, they can link their name with Trump because Trump is also a traitor. So they're working for a man who already committed treason against this country, and they are committing treason against this country. So they're all in this together now. We got the treasonous Americans in power doing hateful, naughty things, okay? And they're doing it for money. The root of all evil. You see? There's a reason why we keep saying money is the root of all evil. Ever listen to those words? Ever think about that? I know some of you out there have a price tag, okay? And you might be sitting there saying, I'll never do it. I'll never do what they're doing. I don't care how much money. Really? How much do you think it would take? Everybody's got a price. Everybody's got a price. Some people, they don't need a price. What they want is something in return, a barter or whatever the hell else. Some people are that easy. You know, principles are a hard thing to stand on when you're broke and you're in need of salvation from, you know, from being destitute, from being shackled to debt. And right now, I think Trump likes it this way, where the economy's shitty and people losing their jobs. You know, hey, the truckers took a big hit this year in the trucking industry. I wouldn't be surprised if some of them are working for ICE. Okay? I'm not trying to cast, you know, suspicion on everybody, you know, that's out of work, but I'm just saying that this is where they're finding their people to go and recruit to help them out. Is people they know are in dire need of money, or fixing to lose everything, their homes, you know, whatever. I mean, maybe they want to send a kid to college or something, you know, and times are tough. Times are tough across the country, so they know this. And Trump screwing around with the economy, tariffs, all that crap that he's been doing to weaken the United States. Well, he's created a great big swath of our public here that's in need of help, a lifeboat, or, you know, or a whatever you want to call it. They need help. Okay, and so now some of them have joined up with Trump's militia here, and they're out there doing, you know, I feel bad for them, because for some of these people, it's the first time in their life they probably ever had to do something like this, where the rest of the country, the rest of the world, looks at it as inhumane and describes it as Nazi tactics, and they're part of it. You know, that's something that, you know, if any of these people still have any conscience at all, they're going to have to live with that. Knowing that, hey, you know, I separated a mother from her kids, a father from his family, sent him to a fucking gulag somewhere outside the country, or to alligator Auschwitz. And God knows what happened to this guy. I didn't even know him. Okay, but he was probably younger than he was, or something, you know, and he doesn't want to think about it. Think about what he did. You know, it's like, that's the kind of thing that a lot of people in the military come home with, PTSD. Because, you know, in combat, you know, innocence gets killed in combat. And for a lot of these people, having killed somebody that wasn't an enemy target, okay, and they were hit by accident, I mean, they cannot live with that. So these people have a conscience, you know, Even though they're in a war zone, they still have that. Not everybody is a warmonger that fight in wars. A lot of these people have a moral code, okay? And believe me, like I keep saying, people in the service are just as diverse as they are in the civilian world. There's very religious people in the military. I ran across many of them when I was in there. Very religious. And therefore they have a conscience about, killing somebody. And so a lot of these people who did not go to the military and were not trained to be military, working in ICE, they're being thrown in the deep end of the swimming pool, and they're out there doing things that they probably never would have done if they didn't need the fucking money. Okay? So they're the ones who are going to have a hard time dealing with what they've done, because what you see on the TV, on the internet, the raids, the goddamn Gestapo tactics, the overkill and everything that they do, believe me, it ain't just pissing us off, it's pushing a lot of these people who are not meant to be doing this kind of work, by the way. Okay, it's pushing them to a breaking point as well. Okay, and I can guarantee you that if anyone is spotted to be losing faith in doing what they're doing, they will be ousted, okay, from ICE. And so, that being said, we have a problem right now with ethics and morality. It's decaying. It's decaying because people cannot stand on their principle when they are facing destitution. But here's the funny part of that, the irony of it, is that when you continue to work with fascists and you're doing this stuff with ICE, destitution is what's going to end up being the end result of this whole thing. So it's either you're poor now or you will be later. Okay? We're all going to suffer. We're all going to take a bite out of this shit sandwich if we can't get a handle on this crap. And it's like I said, some people in law enforcement, like the sheriffs and even some policemen, they're actually getting pissed about this because these folks were trained. They know where the lines are. And they're watching these amateur assholes out there crossing it at every opportunity. Okay? And I can see where, it's easy for people to lose faith, in a system like ICE and all that, okay? And the way Trump is ordering these people to do things and they do it without question, that's troubling too, because, you wonder, what the hell what are they doing? What are they promising these people to make them cross the line? And then you find out, well, they're getting big fucking money. And it's like that guy said, it's become the biggest funded thing right now in our government, is because they're taking all that big fucking money and they're using it to buy people off to work for them. That's what it's going to. And it's a shameful fucking disgusting thing, to dangle of goddamn, oh, here's some food, but you can't take it until you do this for me, teaching a dog tricks or something. It's shameful that we got a government that's treating its people like this now. Okay? So, I don't know where we go from here, except we know where the root cause of all this is. We know where it is. We know who it is. All right? We can be thankful we know that much, because in a lot of cases, people never know until it's too late who the enemy of their lives is. But we knew from day one where this fucking guy was going to take us. And and he's proven us right every step of the way. Every fucking step of the way, he's proven us right. All right? How much more right does he have to get before we do something to put a stop to that? Okay? If you got like a crime spree in your neighborhood, are you going to sit there and not call the cops when somebody's home is broken to? Are you going to sit there and not call the police if someone's being kicked to death on the street? Or are you just going to walk on by like a lot of people do? Okay? What are you going to do? So, I don't know. Anyway, that's it for today, and I hope everybody has a great rest of the work week. So subscribe, comment, share, and keep your ears open for health-related issues, and help out your neighbors out there. Everybody can use a hand for a lot of different things. So I'll talk to you later.